You going to hear about my party? They're going to be shutting them down. They're going to probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things. Just because we want to have a good time. This 1999 interview turned out to be prophetic. Diddy is now under arrest for all the terrible things he has done in his entire life. At the moment, there are more than 100 lawsuits against him. The victims remember all his atrocities with great horror. I can't say that I was afraid. I can't every time I get to this point. I just get emotional. I can't. Celebrities also cried, such as Justin Bieber in 2020. Justin talked about wanting to protect a then 18-year-old Billie Eilish from the harms of the music industry. Many on social media started saying that this also refers to Diddy. Yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters, and I just want to protect her. You know, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. Yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away. When Justin Bieber started off his career, he cited Diddy to be one of his biggest influences. He even called out to the record executive mogul for a collaboration in 2009 when he was 15, though. A collab didn't happen. Then the two bonded after they were connected through Justin's mentor Usher, whereas Usher's mentor was, you guessed it, Diddy. When Usher was 14 years old, he lived for a year at Diddy's camp called Flavor Camp. This camp was an intensive program designed for young artists, where they could develop their musical skills under the guidance of experienced industry professionals. According to Usher, during that year, he saw a lot of wild and very curious things taking place, and he didn't necessarily understand it. You're a dad now, would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp Hell? No. Meanwhile, Bieber spent 48 hours with Diddy. And as Diddy says in this video, he is not going to say exactly what they were going to do, but it is the dream of every 15-year-old teenager where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. A year later, another video was published where Bieber felt uncomfortable when Puff asked him why they don't hang out together anymore. You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out. Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. But you never really got my number, so, okay, number. Yeah. I'm Tell My Number. In 2011, they appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live. The convo started off with Jimmy asking Diddy and Justin what their relationship was about if they were collaborating. On music, Diddy responded, saying they had become friends, quote, in a strange way. And Justin was like his little brother, unafraid to call and ask him for advice. The music mogul also explained the record industry was a strong family, and Justin was someone they had their arms around to protect him from vultures in the music. Biz Diddy described Justin as a genuinely nice person with lots of talent, adding that he's one of the greatest kids you could ever know. Bieber smiled and shook Diddy's hand, telling Jimmy that the Bad Boy Records CEO had bought him a Lamborghini, but he hadn't received it yet. Jimmy asked Diddy when Justin could expect the fancy car. And that's when Diddy gave a stunning response, "Got me a Lamborghini, that's nice. I haven't gotten it yet, though." Yeah, when is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time. He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house. He knows better than be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television in 2020. Justin joined Diddy's live stream. Justin spoke warmly of him there. At the same time, he spoke in such a tone as if he was afraid of him. I just want to say, raising awareness for the Black community and what is happening, it's absolutely ridiculous, and what you're doing is powerful, and it needs to be said. So I thank you so much for doing that as well. Thank you, absolutely. Call in 2021. Another strange video appears in which Diddy seems to be checking Bieber for a microphone in 2023. Bieber appeared on Diddy's album, The Love Album, Off the Grid on Instagram. They exchanged kind words about each other again. And at the end of his comment, Justin says, "Love you, Diddy, as we can see." Bieber has spoken positively about Diddy more than once. However, how sincere is this? After all, he could just be saying it out of fear. After Diddy's arrest, sources has told Daily Mail that Justin regrets his collaboration with Diddy and refuses to talk about the arrest. Bieber is so disturbed by the Diddy news and is unwilling to process it or discuss it, so he has shut off the source. Said so many people who helped to make him who he is were very close to Diddy, and it has completely thrown him. Justin hasn't been responding on this since the home rids. He had a long break from Diddy when he believes most of this took place, and he distanced himself from him. He was featured on Diddy's most recent album, and had he known any of this, there is no way he would have done it after all this. Justin Bieber's clip for the track Yummy shines in a different light before the release of the clip. Justin posted photos of young children and captioned them yummy because of this, some users called him a pedophile. In this clip, we see children entertaining quite grown adults who look very rich. When Justin sits down at the table, everyone present begins to devour all the food they see on the table. Sweets and pastries on the table symbolize children, their souls and bodies. It all ends with a wide party. And at the end, there is a plate with the image of a young Justin Bieber with the very same word yummy. It is also worth paying attention to how he pronounces yummy. If you listen closely, you can hear the letter N, so not you got that yummy, but you got the young me you. Music Gotum. It wasn't easy for Justin to shoot this video. There are videos where he was breaking down crying during filming and was inconsolable. It is quite possible that during filming, his subconscious reminded him of all those terrible things from the industry that he had to face. Puff has been involved in scandals and conflicts that still leave questions. So let's go in order and start with his wild Tupac nines. At first, Tupac and Puff Daddy were good friends, and they hung out together a handful of times. Pac believed that Puffy could make a superstar out of Biggie. The thing is that when Biggie was preparing the Ready to Die album, Biggie worried that he could miss his shot, considering that the new label he was signed to, Bad Boy, owned by Diddy, hadn't been taken off yet. Things weren't happening quickly enough for him. He complained he asked Tupac to take over as his manager in hopes Tupac could advance his music and film career as rapidly as he'd done his own. Tupac declined the offer and told him to be in Bad Boy, where Puff Daddy would make a star out of him. That's exactly what happened after the release of the album. Biggie became a superstar. But in 199-4, an incident occurred that turned them from friends into sworn enemies. Tupac was contacted by Jimmy Henchman, a known associate of Haitian Jack, to appear on a Little Shaw song, An Artist. He represented that same night. Big was in the studio with Junior Mafia. They were working on the song Player's Anthem. Lil C.E. saw Pac from the balcony and called him to his place. Lil C.E. went to meet the guest, and when he came down, he saw Tupac and his friends lying on the floor. Two robbers pointed guns at them and told them to get back into the elevator. They went upstairs, and Lil C.E. told Big that they were being robbed when they came back. Pac was lying on the floor, all blooded. Tupac said the crew looked surprised and guilty, but Puffy claimed they showed him nothing but love and concern. He accused Jimmy Henchman, Hay and Jack, and of course Puffy and Biggie of the robbery. Pac was so upset that he had been framed by his own friends. In turn, in an interview for Vibe, Puffy said that he had nothing to do with the robbery. I have proved things that I could say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody. Puffy began to worry for his life when Big J, a close friend of Suge Knight, was killed after a run-in between Death Row and Bad Boy. Puff saw his savior in the face of OG Keffy D from Law in the early 90s. An East Coast client named Eric Von Zip Martin introduced KD to Puff Daddy at one of the parties. They shook hands, and that was it. The first time Puffy and Keffy D contacted each other was when Puff wanted to rent a car for Usher's first video. Can you get with in general after the tragic incident with Big Jake? According to Keffy D, Puff told him that he had problems with Big CEO and PO. So if he resolved the issue, so to speak, he would receive $1 million in addition to this. According to Napoleon from Outlaws, Puffy said that whoever steals a chain from Death Row Records will receive $10,000. Puffy was saying, we want to put this chain in in our video, and that's why the guys try to snatch the chain. One of KD's friends went to the mall where he met a rival gang and proceeded to get beaten. Help later arrived, and they beat them and took the chain with the Death Row logo. Orlando Anderson took part in this fight, and then came the fateful day for Pac after Mike Tyson's fight. One of the Death Row participants of that fight saw Orlando and told Pac about it, who without hesitation went to deal with him and avenge his friend. In a few hours, Pac would be killed in a BMW. KD's name came up again when Biggie Smalls' mom sued the Los Angeles City Administration. At one of the preliminary hearings, the judge said that if the city loses the court case, the city's losses will exceed $400 million. Therefore, they had no choice but to solve the case. As a result, Greg Kading took over the investigation they took in Keffy D, who refused to give any testimony. At the time, the feds were already investigating the case of Keffe D and other accomplices who were involved in drug trafficking. They could have not only sentenced him to life in prison, but his family members as well. So Keffe decided to come clean about what happened on September 7th, 1996. I seen a bull going, Suhead, I thought he was dead. Thought he was dead. So Tupac's trying to H in the backseat, and what should doing duck do in 2007 KD met with Puff Daddies. Former stylist, where the stylist informed him that Puff had paid Zip money to kill Pac, but K had not received a penny. It is assumed that Zip opened the nightclub in New York with this money. So the FBI told you that Zip kept that money as well. He said just everybody cross you. KD received immunity and was sure that nothing would happen to him. That's why he went on different YouTube channels where he talked about his past, or rather the story of his friendship with Puff. He also wrote his autobiography and the detailed murder of Pac because he started talking about it so openly, the government had every right to arrest him, which happened on September 29, 2023. And my goal here today is to walk you through our investigation and what led us to the indictment of Dwayne Davis, also known as KD, for the murder of Tupac Shakur Puffy. On the other hand, denies any connections with KD and says that the movie murder rap inside the Biggie and Tupac murders is complete nonsense. It was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true. Yeah. CH out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense. My The Notorious B. IG brother Pac was furious after Biggie's song Wooda, which was put out after the robbery in New York, who shot separate the week from the hard-to-creep Brooklyn streets. To be fair, the song was recorded before the incident, according to Napoleon. Putting out Who Shoulda at such a bad time was Puffy's idea to get back at Pac for accusing Bad Boy Records of trying to murder him. Even though it can take people lives, people might lose lives, but I'm going get rich. Put it out. Your label dro a song Who Shot You? Who this world to be about, bro? Keep it a buck initially. Biggie was supposed to go to London, not to the after party that took place in Leh. This information is confirmed by Bad Boy ex-president Kirk Burroughs, explaining that Puffy canceled this trip because he was eager to see him at the party early Saturday morning, saying he's not going to London, call Arista. Cancel it, you go, you represent it, you go, he's not going. I know for a fact that he was prepared to go, would have loved not to go if his labor owner. It only said you don't have to go as a result. After this party, Biggie would be killed in a Chevrolet Impala. Biggie's mom, Veda Wallace, believes Combs only loved her son after he was dead. I used to tell Christopher all the time not to trust Sean Veda, said in 2005. After these words, they saw each other several times. However, after the latest news and the video where he beats Cassie, she would like to see him again to slap him in any case. Biggie could have still been alive if he'd flown to ex-wife Kim Porter. London. Kimberly Porter and Shyne Combs first began dating around 1994 before meeting. Combs Kim had a child with her ex-husband, singer Al, be sure in 1998. Porter and Combs welcomed their first child. But just a year after the birth of their son, the couple broke up. The separation resulted in a year-long family court battle, the details of which were never disclosed. But a statement from Diddy's lawyer noted that the agreement allowed for full involvement by both parents after they broke up. Porter entered into a new relationship with music video executive Shakir Stewart in 2000, which allegedly angered Combs per a May 2024 report by Rolling Stone. Diddy allegedly broke a chair on Stewart's head. While the two men and Porter were in Italy for Lou Reed's wedding, he left him bleeding on a hotel floor in Italy. Stewart's mother, Porsche, reportedly told Rolling Stone he had to have stitches, and then Combs threatened him. I'm going to kill you. That's when I said you need to get out of this business. This man is crazy. In 2003, Combs and Porter reunited, and the couple went on to have two more children, twin daughters, the Leah Starr Combs and Jesse James Combs in 2006. However, their short-lived reunion only lasted until 2007, when just a year after giving birth to their twins, the model broke things up for the last time in an interview with Essence Kim, spoke about the circumstances surrounding her and Diddy's final goodbye, as being marred in an unraveling of trust, after the interviewer asked Kim why she left in such a dramatic way, referring to reports that she waited till he was out of town before she packed up the house and left cars, and all Kim responded, because there was no other way you think he would have let me walk out the door. He wouldn't have wanted me to go throughout this relationship. People close to Kim said she was being abused by Diddy. Firstly, he constantly controlled her. Kim said that he would call her 50 to 60 times a day anytime a man would go out his way to reap someone's phone or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation. That's a sign of insanity. One of Dee's ex-bodyguards, Roger Bonds, recalled one incident, in particular, dating back to around 2005, when he picked up the then couple from a yacht excursion upon seeing them. However, he realized that Porter's nose had allegedly been broken. According to the security guard, Diddy went to a plastic surgeon. After he broke her nose, he's going to fly in your doctors so that he can know he was controlling when it came to Kim. So he would fly in doctors, anything that if anything was wrong with it, that it wouldn't get leaked out. He was able to control the situation. Is it true that Diddy broke her nose bust? A noseman, Roger himself, saw 3 fights between them. One of them happened on the way to a hotel. Back then, Puff asked him to get out of the car. The next thing I knew, I seen the car rumbling, shaking this, that, Allah. So then I opened up the door and say, yo, we in front of the Beverly Hills Hotel. So then Kim got out the car. She fixed her hair and she said, I want to explain. Put your hands on me again. And you going to have to explain this scratch that I'm about to put on your face. Unfortunately, Kim Porter died on November 15, 2018. The official cause of death was the result of lobar pneumonia. Kim's father, Jake Porter, called the cause of death a load of crap, but is not thinking about reopening the case. Another family member said that if it had been his daughter, he would have insisted on a reopen. Music, Jennifer Lopez and Shyne investigation. Jennifer Lopez and Bad Boy Records artist Shyne ended. Up in the same block. And let us tell you why Puffy was the producer of J-Lo's album On the 6, as the singer recalls. Initially, she did not like Puff. What you're going for? We're friends. There's no romance between you and Puffy. You know, he's just a good friend. He was large in life, but at first I didn't like him at all. You know, I thought he was like, you know, ick. I didn't like him because, you know, Shyne and I were very different that way. You know, I was very like family oriented and but he showed his persistence, and they started dating at the end of December 1999. They, along with rapper Shyne, found themselves in a different situation after a party in New York. It turned into a shootout in an iClub. When they were leaving the party, Diddy, carrying a bottle of champagne, accidentally jostled one of the club's patrons, knocking a drink out of his hand. The man, Matthew Allen, a street tough known as Scar, responded with the shove. Things escalated. One of Allen's companions allegedly threw a stack of money in Cum's face, and shots were fired, leaving 3 people injured. Combs and Lopez were arrested, fleeing the scene in a Link. Navigator with a gun in the trunk. J-Lo was quickly absolved, and although witnesses said they'd seen Combs with the weapon, and his driver testified that his boss had bribed him to claim ownership. His legal team, including Johnny Cochran, created enough doubt that Combs was acquitted too. You could say the couple got away with it. Shyne, on the other hand, was acquitted of attempted murder but convicted on charges of assault and possession of weapons, receiving 10 years in prison. During his radio interview, Shyne said he had a gun with him because he had been shot at just a month before the incident at the club. He also added that carrying the gun in the club saved his life and he did the right thing. The relationship with his producer was ruined. He said, "There's no beef between me and Shyne." Absolutely. Not everything's cool between us. Would you agree with that? I mean, there is no mean and Shyne. Like, it's, you know, there's no relationship there to have a be exactly, you know, he doesn't exist to me. And, you know, those people were testifying. They were brought to Puff first, saying that what they saw against Shan, what they saw Shan do, the Day didn't even know those people existed in 2001. Lopez and Puff broke up. The singer admitted that the reason was that Diddy couldn't remain faithful, and she wanted to forget about the shooting and put it behind her. There's some trouble now. There's some trouble now. I don't think I need to tell people, but there's trouble now, and we don't need to go into it. Do we know? And you can't really say anything about it, can you? No. So I really shouldn't have even brought it up. I don't know why I brought it up. Her relationship with Diddy was very traumatic for her mom, who never liked Pop One. Day Wendy Williams asked Jennifer about the possibility of resuming her romantic relationship with Diddy. This question made her mom live it. Look at. Or in my mind, getting together after the court case was closed, Combs decided to change his name from Daddy to Diddy in order to have a fresh start. And Shyne was released from jail and got deported to his native Belize in 2009 in 2020. Shyne was elected as the leader of the opposition at the House of Representatives in Baisei, after government officials attempted to approve an amendment that would prevent ex-convicts like him from running for office. Shyne says Diddy lent him support a year later. Did he help him come back to America? And you'd think that would be the end of it, the past stays in the past, but that wasn't the case in one of the lawsuits that rained down on Diddy producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who worked with Diddy for about 13 months, recounted what happened on that tragic day in '99. According to his words, Puffy was bragging to him about bribing witnesses and jurors in the criminal case concerning the 1999 NYC nightclub shooting with Shyne. Mr. Combs shared that he was responsible for the shooting in the nightclub in New York, Jones alleged. He also alleges that Diddy bragged about using Lopez to smuggle the gun into the club one of the victims that night. Nadia Rubin called Diddy's arrest one of the best days of her life because she's 100% sure that it was Diddy who shot at her in an interview for the Art of the Dialogue channel. The woman shared the details of that incident. She saw Shyne and Diddy take out their weapons. I watched them both fire their guns. I watched them. I got hit right here in my nose in between my eyes, which means I'm facing directly at you. Just like I'm looking at you and I can tell you got on black shades. They kind of look like Kazal and an Adidas shirt. That's exactly how I was looking at him. And I watched him shoot me after Diddy's arrest. Shyne says that yes, he forgave him, but that night and Puff's subsequent actions ruined his life. I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison. Do I take any joy or any satisfaction with what he is going through? Absolutely not. I am different than maybe other people. As for Jennifer Lopez, according to rumors, she's very nervous right now. As this case may be reopened, she and her team are on high members of Making the Band. Music alert. Making the Band was an instant hit where fans got to watch the full process of putting a supergroup together. Viewers loved watching the wild activities Diddy had his band trainees do to come together. As a group, they seemed ridiculous. And they were. Despite this, Diddy insisted that these challenges and activities were necessary to become a true artist, and everyone both on and off. It believed that to be true since those days the world has changed. And so, the ugly reality behind Making the Band has come to light in recent years. Some clips from that show started going viral on the internet. Because of the wildness of some moment, the first clip came from MTV4, where Diddy had everyone line up on opposite sides and compete in a singing battle to see who wanted the opportunity more. Sing to him. Don't sing. They'll let him hear you. You said to me, I don't know, you come to get his bed, man. You acting so strange. Yeah. Maybe I was too. Blind to what made the clip so memorable was the fact that all the men were dressed in leisure wear and singing to each other with conviction, while Diddy's cold gaze looked upon them. The second video was from MTV2, where Diddy asked members of his hip-hop group Duan to walk to Brooklyn from M-Town Manhattan to get him some cheesecake from the famous Junior's Cheesecake restaurant. The moment went down in TV history, as the group actually went and got the task done, if y'all bucking on. This little, right here, I definitely don't want to, with y'all want this man, but we was just on to tip. Like you was trying to put us out there, like a something like make us walk all to Brooklyn. Like you what I'm saying, I don't really care how you took it or whatever. You went through your mind, be fly about him, get your swag on. Walk that way, do it. Some members reacted to these videos. Freddie P, who was a member of the band, confessed. Did he is one of the main reasons he hates life. Trying to survive, my can't go get no job. You just want to be regular sometime? You can't even go get a job. You walk in the job. It's Freddie P. What's up, boy? In April of this year, he gave an interview to the Art of the Dialogue, in which the rapper opened up about a particular incident that found him getting into an argument with Diddy. Freddie P claimed that the argument escalated to the point where Shock Holmes threatened to buy his block and get him popped. Every time he stepped foot over there, he was like, I buy every house on your block, shut every light off on that. You come out every time you come out, that get popped, and that silenced me, and for you to make that. People ask why I left the band. Like, that's why I left the band? Like, that's why I didn't do DP? He also explained that he saw the allegations up close. It may be common nowadays, but for a man to walk up and slap your ass or let me get your number, or come to my hotel room. Not normal, I ain't never heard no that in my lifetime for no man to approach you like that, and he's done it several times in turn. Denny Kane members call out Diddy as extremely sexist, one of the group members. AUBO Day. believes that she was fired because she refused Diddy. Sexual advances, I wasn't willing to do what was expected of me, not talent-wise, but in other areas, another member of this group, Don Richard, filed lawsuit against him in September of this year. In the suit, Richard alleged Combsgrow assaulted and imprisoned her and threatened her life when she tried to intervene in defense of Combs' then-girlfriend, Cassie. Richard stated in the suit that she tried multiple times to intervene, offered Cassie support, and encouraged her to leave Combs. The suit alleged that Combs threatened Richard's life, telling her that he had the ability to make people will disappear and could end ex-girlfriend Cassie people. This is a video from 2006 where Diddy signed singer Cassie and producer Ryan Leslie, who was her boyfriend at the time, and I saw her and I met her and I saw this DVD on her. Hopefully we can play that. That's what kind of made me really fall in love with the project, because I saw something more than just records, and ironically, he really did see her as more than an artist. He saw her as his future girlfriend after Cassie broke up with Ryan. She started dating Diddy. The relationship lasted for 9 years. They didn't get married, consequently, they could not have children together. And there are good reasons for this. During those 9 years of their relationship, terrible things happened, which she described in her $30 million lawsuit. She accused him of sex trafficking and physical abuse. The filing also claims that he forced Cassie to engage with male workers while madting and filming the encounters, as well as forced her to carry a handgun, even though she felt uncomfortable with doing so. Finally, she claimed that Diddy plied her with drugs and alcohol, triggering a substance abuse problem. One of such abusive moments that can be recalled can be seen in a video from 2016, where Diddy was